If you're watching this video, then you're either already living alone or perhaps pondering it. And if you're at this stage in your life, you may have some very mixed feelings about it. It may have been forced upon you as a result of circumstances beyond your control, or it might be a very welcome change filled with excitement, but also some very valid concerns. Living alone can be an adventure, but it also comes with challenges. And you get to make all of the decisions, but you have to make all of the decisions. And what about the things that keep you up at night? The what ifs and the fear of the unknown and the fear of just being home alone. Let's chat about that and look at the hard truth of living alone at this stage of life. Hi, I'm Susan, and welcome to the channel. First off, let's talk about that fear, the fear of being alone, particularly at night. Maybe you've heard a strange creak, or you're lying in bed and hear that dreaded bump in the night, and thoughts which are prudent and sane during the light of day turn into paranoid, crazy thoughts in the wee hours of the morning. I'm the first one to admit I'm a fraidy cat through and through. And when I was home alone at night, when I was still in my home, it was the worst. I had to make sure I was absolutely exhausted before I went to bed. I could not risk laying in bed trying to fall asleep. That's when the noises and the creaks and the bumps were the very loudest. But here's the thing, there are plenty of ways to ease that fear. Get yourself a hammer or a good sturdy rolling pin. You think I'm joking? Under my bed when I lived in my home was a hammer alongside the long serrated knife, alongside the long-handled screwdriver. God forbid if I ever had to use them, I don't know who would have ended up in worse shape, them or me. But having them there did give me some strange peace of mind. Also, before I even went to bed, I did a paranoid check-through of the whole entire house. Every nook, cranny, closet, under every bed, it had to be thoroughly checked for the boogeyman. Because believe you me, you do not want to be doing that house check in the middle of the night, hammer in hand. That's when things can go wrong. You could always make your life easier and get an alarm system, or leave some lights on, or put up some beware of vicious dog signs. I also heard a funny suggestion. Someone said, put out a pair of very large, well-worn men's work boots outside your door to indicate that inside was a very large, well-worn man. There are actually very many techie gadgets that you can use for home security, including security cameras, video doorbells, smart locks, motion sensor lights, and personal safety alarms. These are all designed to deter intruders and provide peace of mind. For some reason, since I've been living in an apartment, I have not been afraid. I have not lost any sleep, not even one night. There's only one way in, a deadbolt door, and there's only one way out, a 6th floor balcony. And maybe I'm in the ignorance is bliss stage, but I'd rather not hear any stories about how someone got in a deadbolted door. But along with the physical fear of personal safety, there may be a fear that you can't manage on your own, that you're not able to do the man's work that's required to run a home on your own. Here's the thing, you'll find out pretty soon that you're quite capable on your own. If you've got these items, you're pretty much set for 90% of home maintenance issues. But if you can't do it or don't want to, there's no shame in asking for help. I'm pretty stubborn when it comes to asking for help, but when I do, I'm always amazed and pleasantly surprised at how willing people are to help. Call a friend, hire someone, or just skip it. And if you can't figure something out, don't stress about it. Life's too short to worry about things that really don't matter. As long as it's not impacting your safety and it's just a nice to have, then don't worry about it. It'll get done one day. But one of the most empowering things about living alone is learning about self-sufficiency and knowing that you are self-sufficient. There's nothing quite like fixing something in the home on your own and feeling that burst of confidence. And let's not forget, my home, my rules. If I want to rearrange the furniture every day of the week or move the pictures on a wall over and over and over, I can and will do so without any eye rolling or judgment sighs. If I want to leave the dishes in the sink or on the counter until tomorrow, I can. If I want to stay up till the wee hours of the morning watching YouTube in bed, I will. But let's talk about boredom, because if you are living on your own, you will be bored at times. But here's the thing, boredom is actually an opportunity. When you're bored, you're often in the best space for creativity. This is when you come up with new ideas or solve a problem that you didn't even know you had. So instead of dreading it, try to embrace it. If you're bored and just can't take it anymore, then that boredom is telling you that something needs to change and you need to replace it with something that brings some sort of joy and satisfaction in your life. But it's up to you to find out what that is. But really, the beauty is you don't have to fill your day with constant activity. You get to decide what your day looks like without comment or judgment from anyone. Maybe your perfect day is a day of peace and quiet, or maybe it's an afternoon of tinkering and puttering. Tinkering and puttering are two of my favorite ways to pass the time. Find some busy work that keeps your hands busy and let those creative juices flow. But maybe you're living alone because of a breakup or the loss of a loved one, and you're home alone with only you. That can be very overwhelming. Being alone after a breakup or a loss forces you to reconnect with yourself, and that's tough, and it's not always pretty. It's normal to feel lost or unsure, especially if you've defined yourself as part of that relationship. Believe me when I say this time can be incredibly powerful when you're forced to face those emotions head on and not shove them down. You'll find that you come out on the other side stronger and wiser and with increased awareness of who you really are. But let's be honest, loneliness is a real thing and it can hit pretty hard. And even if you wanted to, when you're feeling it, you can't ignore it. It doesn't mean that you're unlovable or a failure. It means that you're missing someone or something that was. And you have to figure out a way to navigate your feelings in the here and now. If you're missing a relationship or a connection, then it's time to dig deep and start to figure out what you can do to fill that void. You might have to make an effort to reconnect with old friends or start building new relationships. And it's not easy, I know. A couple of suggestions for meeting new people that you might have something in common with. Check out your local library. I'm always amazed at the programs and activities they offer. Really, check it out. Also, volunteering might be something you could do. You'd meet new people and be doing something that keeps you busy, but on terms that you decide. And nothing makes us feel more needed than doing something for someone else and having that purpose in life. I personally would rather be by myself than in a relationship where I'm unhappy. There is not a split-second hesitation when I say this. And I'm not talking just about deep relationships. I'm talking about people that you just don't have a genuine connection with. The fear of being alone should never be worse than the feeling of being with someone that you'd rather not be with. Not having to pretend to be interested in conversations that don't interest me in the slightest. Not having to listen to constant chatter, idle chit-chat, inane prattle. I would much rather take peace and quiet and solitude and freedom. I think I had to endure too much background noise and uninspiring conversation in my past. I just do not have the time or desire or patience for it anymore. To me, the sound of silence is absolutely golden. I get to choose how my day is going to unfold, what's going to be done, or not done, what meals will be prepared or not prepared. Dining usually looks more like this than this, but I'm okay with that. I had never lived on my own ever until these last few years. I lived with my mom and my sister until I was married when I was 22, and then I lived with my husband. And then after that marriage ended, I lived with my son for a number of years, and then I remarried, and then I had my family, and then when I was 51, my marriage ended, and then a couple years after that, I was an empty nester. And now at 60, I'm definitely still in the honeymoon phase with me and myself. Living alone at this stage may not have been your first choice. It may not have been something that even entered your mind as a place that you'd be at this time in your life. But it's a chance to rediscover your identity, to live intentionally and creatively, and to make your space and your day and how it unfolds your very own. It's a journey, and yes, there will be bumps and boredom and loneliness along the way, but there would be if you were not on your own. Living on your own can bring you the confidence, freedom, and empowerment that you didn't even know you needed, bringing with it an opportunity to grow into a stronger, more authentic version of you. So what do you think? What does your perfect day look like? Leave me a comment and let me know. Thank you for spending this time with me. I'm so glad that you did. Please like and subscribe so that I can grow my channel. I'm so enjoying this community that we're creating. I hope this day brings you peace and positivity and the freedom to live your perfect day.